Yeah.
to,
I think it's unique
to
to, yeah, New York and North Jersey. Um, any kind of like metropolitan area in on the East Coast, we're typically real like Boston, New York,
hmm
um, stuff like that, Chicago. But I've been to quite a few places, and nothing's as fast as New York. New York and North Jersey, we are just quick. I mean, if I go to a pizza place and you don't have my pizza ready in a minute and a half, I'm getting pissed off.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, we're fast. And when I moved from North Jersey to Pennsylvania, and everything takes forever, and that's just the way of life up here, and they're just okay with it. And I'm sitting there like, the steam's coming out of my ears, like, hurry up, I got stuff to do. And they're just normal, and they're just laid back, and it's okay for them. And I guess that's okay for me now, because what am I going to do about it? Right?
Maintain rage against the system. Make
Yeah,
everyone
right,
go quicker.
right. Rage against the hay bales, because that's what it's like
Yeah.
over here.
Oh man, the first like encounter I had with like a lot of Americans all at once. I'd come over for a course in this athletic development and neuroscience that they'd combined, and it was really really cool stuff. But so 4 days of this, and half the class were from either New York or Boston, and then the other half were scattered from all around the country, and then there was me, the lone Aussie. And I got to Sunday night. I went back to my hotel, and I'm just we had a hot tub there. That's right. So me and a guy from Chicago that I made friends with, and he spoke fast because he was from New York, living in Chicago, and so he's just like a million miles an hour. And this guy from Southern Illinois, Dustin, who I became really good friends with, he walks past. I'm going, hey, dude, just come hang out for a bit. Just jump in the hot tub with us, have a beer, and let's talk. And he goes, oh, okay. And I said, man, you're my favorite person this week because I understand everything you say. And then he goes, oh, do you now? And I said, yeah, man. He goes, well, can you explain a little bit about where you're from? He goes, well, my name's Dustin. I'm from Quincy, Illinois. And I'm like, I can keep up with that. And after all the East Coast people just and they're like, I don't know
Yeah,
what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
yeah.
But that was fun.
It's we have this level of anxiety that never goes away, and it's really weird to have. And it sucks most times, because it's there, and
hmm
you're rushing through things that you don't have to rush through, but it's like, I have five other things to do, so you just get up and just do it immediately, that one thing that can wait, just to get it out of the way. And I think that's kind of why we talk fast, we do everything fast, and we just rush through everything. But we get a lot of things done too.
So, what was it like growing up around there?
Crazy. I grew up in Patterson, and then I moved to Prospect Park when I was about 10. That was much better neighborhood, Prospect Park. Patterson's, if you look it up, just it when I grew up there, it wasn't the best neighborhood. It still isn't. Um, Gangs, just fighting, gunshots, everything like that. Well, America, basically. Uh, and
Right. So
this
what
was
Australians think of is just
Yeah,
like
from the
everywhere,
rest
every
of the
day.
world.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it was pretty rough. If you didn't fight back, you got your ass handed to you, and that kind of carried over for the rest of my life. And
hmm
you just learn to not take shit from anybody. And then when you go to a nice neighborhood and somebody's looking at you for longer than 2 seconds,
oh,
you
yep.
accidentally punch them in the face, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't have hit him. You as you get older, you're like, man, I shouldn't have beat that kid up. But in hindsight, it is what it is.
Oh, maybe they were just looking for the street sign. Maybe they weren't staring at me. Maybe I don't have to
Yeah,
yell at them.
exactly. Maybe I'm just a new kid and they wanted to know my name. You know,
Right?
it's but coming from a place where they're looking at you too long, there's somebody else behind you, and they're just ready to jump you with the other three kids. So it's
Yeah. Right. Right.
that's where that anxiety comes from, and it kind of sticks with you as an adult. Like, why, Why are they looking at me? Where are they? How many people are there? And it's kind of hard to relax even to this day from that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's kind of weird. But anybody that grows up where I grew up and in that kind of environment, they know what I'm talking about. It's just a weird thing that kind of sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it prepares you for when the shit hits the fan, so to speak. When everybody else is screaming and they don't know what to do and they're falling over themselves, you're just kind of calm and you're like, okay, I've been through this. And you just, here's the exit, everybody.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so what just a couple of things. I know you're freezing a lot, but don't worry about that because
Oh, sorry.
it's Riverside. It'll record just fine. Just plow through. I can hear you just good. But I put that reel up on Instagram yesterday, and I think you commented almost immediately, and it was about it was Paul Tesoriero, the power bencher, talking about, and we were both talking about it, and we figured that we'd had fairly similar careers where everybody else around you is like a superstar. And it's really hard to take your achievement seriously, even though what you've done is really cool. You're kind of going, yeah, but all my friends are world champions and I don't have one, so I mustn't be that good.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely hit home because everybody I know that I was hanging around with, they were all world champions and they all had, at the very least, national records.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here with, state records and stuff like that, and which was, was cool. And I was the only person that was breaking the state records, and I was just re-breaking my own records. And um, I went to the Arnold three separate times, and I did a lot of cool things that my body just shouldn't have been able to do. But
Mm-hmm.
um, it wasn't enough, and I wish I could have enjoyed the ride while I was on it, and I didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? I
I
went
I,
to
I do.
compete, and I would go to venues because I didn't have the genetic gifts that other people had. I had to work so much harder than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to venues like 4 days early because I just had to relax that long. And I wouldn't, like, when we went to Orlando, Florida, everybody else went to Disney World and stuff like that. I didn't leave the hotel for 4 days. I just stayed there in order to compete at my best. And I've planned because I always had everybody else's numbers in my head, and I knew that if Nick Tyluki messed up on his last squat, I knew I had him in bench, and I knew if he messed up on his last deadlift, I could do some damage, right? I could, and depending on who's doing this, who's doing that, I could place on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I always knew that I kind of had that switch in my head that where I could put anything I needed on that bar and I could just do it if I needed to. Um, and that's kind of why I just did what I needed to do. But I wish I went to Disney World. I wish I went to Columbus and I went out more. I wish I met more people. I just isolated myself and I didn't enjoy it. And that kind of, when the sport got taken from me rather than me leaving, it really kind of sucks because, as you know, once you leave the sport, even for 6 months, nobody even knows you anymore.
Yeah,
So
it keeps going. It moves on without you. It's
yeah,
yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting for me because a lot of my lifting was pretty similar. Was this kind of desire to be at whatever the next level was. I wasn't there. I was good, but I wasn't the greatest. I used to when I ran. Actually, that reminds me. When I used to run these little coaching seminars where I teach sort of powerlifting and neuroscience together. And the joke that I made at the start was that I'm the number 5 venture in the world, but you can rest easy in the knowledge that the other 4 aren't doing workshops. So this is the best one.
perfect.
But in my head, that meant if there's 4 or 5 people that beat me all the time, then I can't be that good. But that and even saying it now, it sounds stupid because I've worked through that. I know I was good. I'm pretty happy these days with my achievements. But at the time, I thought they were pretty rubbish, and used to beat myself up a lot about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something that's hard to, um, I've been out of it for next year will be 10 years and I still struggle with that.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause I guess because it was taken from me rather than me walking away. Um, and but I have been recently, as soon as those thoughts come in my head, I go, you did this with this kind of problem in your spine, you did this with
Hmm.
that kind of, all these things against you, no training partners ever, all no coaches ever. I had one when I was like 13, but that was for a little bit.
Yep.
um this was before the internet is what it is. So you had to learn things from magazines or just learn from people that you met and then hope that the advice was good. Um,
Oh yeah,
and
you used to. It was always you had to trust You really had to trust gym bros back in those days,
yeah,
didn't you? You're like
yeah,
going, this sounds credible, but you don't have large biceps, so I'm not sure.
right, 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 exactly. You had to find the guy that actually did well at a meet and
Yeah.
wasn't just strong because they were juicing up the gills. So, I had a couple of those guys that were, it was their first or second meet, and they were like, "You should do this," and I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that because all you did was stick a needle in your ass." So, I knew what you looked like 6 months ago. You were 155 pounds. So,
Oh gosh, man, with our this is fun because like even though we've known each other for a long time, we haven't had opportunities to chat for large periods of
yeah,
time. And your upbringing in powerlifting is eerily similar to mine. So I had no training partners. I had no powerlifters within 1,000 miles. Um, was self coached, self everything. You just pick stuff up as you go and hope that you're getting it right,
mm-hmm.
and did all right with it. But anyway, keep going. So you had no training partners, no nothing going on. You're where did you get started?
uh, let's see. I mean, I started training, like training, when I was like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just
10.
got like a yeah, I just got like a cheap little like set, like the standard sets, those thin bars with the standardized plates.
Oh yeah. What?
Uh, I got like a bench that was like probably the width of a 2x4. Had the little leg
Did you?
extension leg curl on it.
Um,
Yeah,
did
it
you
was.
get it from K? Did you get it from Kmart?
No, I got it from this place called Cost Cutters, and the
Oh, even
price.
better.
Yeah, the price was cut. So it was. I got it for $100, and I got 300 pounds in weight, which was a really good price. Um, and I believe it or not, I still have those weights, and I still use them for like accessories, like curls or like triceps and stuff like that. Because weights don't go bad, right? Um,
Gravity's still the same.
exactly. So I used that bench until it almost killed me, literally. I was benching I got all the way up to like 215 pounds on that bench, and the thing was shaking like there was an earthquake. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fall through this thing because it was literally only held together by like one thin bolt. And I'm like, okay, I don't think this thing can handle much more. It never had a weight capacity on it. I don't think it was ever meant to hold more than like 50 or 60 pounds. So I had 215 plus whatever my body weight was at the time.
Oh wow.
And that was probably around, oh, I don't know. I was probably like 14 at the time. But rewind from there, I met this guy, kind of a local legend in New Jersey, but he's definitely a fantastic powerlifter. Jules Pellegrino. Fantastic bench presser. He's known for his bench press, but he's a squat, bench, deadlift, full power lifter too.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing it forever. And I met him through my mom. She used to be a bartender at this a restaurant, and she introduced me to him, and that's kind of how I found out about powerlifting as the sport. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's kind of cool because I just got into lifting because I just wanted to be strong as hell. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Me
I mean,
too.
plain and simple. Like I didn't care about the sport, and I know this is going to sound harsh, but I never cared about the sport. I just wanted to be stronger than everybody. And the sport was a way for me to go, okay, these people are trying to do the same thing I'm doing. Let me go kick their ass. So, so it was kind of like a
Yep.
level playing field. If I beat them at their game, I really win. And, I can kind of prove to myself I'm better than everybody. It was kind of a weird thing that I had, but it is what it is. So I met him. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to say. I was going to say once again. Yeah, that was me. I just figured there was no such thing as being too strong for anything, and if you were
Right.
stronger, that's better.
Yeah, exactly. Because I did a whole bunch of sports. I did, I mean, you name it, I did it. And I always thought to
Hmm.
myself, there's always like a there's always like a finish line. Like you can always hit the top score in all these games, right? Basketball, all these things. Like you're always going to hit this top score in weightlifting, and it's infinite. There's
Yep.
never going to be enough weight you can put on that bar, and that's kind of why I went to that. And plus, I just always I don't my earliest memory is wanting to be stronger than everybody. That's all I remember. I can't remember wanting anything else. So anyway, I met Jules.
Yeah.
He brought me to Belmont Barbell, his garage,
Hmm.
and he just introduced me to a bunch of guys, Ron Falcone, a few other New Jersey lifters, and we just kind of chopped it up. He taught me a couple things, and then he introduced me to Joe Carini, which was the first guy to total, I think, 2,000 in New Jersey, first guy to bench 600 in New Jersey, and all raw. Uh, Joe never got really the recognition he deserved. He was
Hmm.
this unbelievably powerful man that he never he never really competed enough either. And at least in my opinion, I watched that guy lift in the gym when I was lifting at his gym, and he was squatting like over 800 pounds, benching like 600 for like two, raw, deadlifting over 800. I mean, he was a freak, and by the time I was doing it in 1999, he was just done. He never competed anymore. And I'm like, why are you not competing? Why would you still lift like that and not compete? But it made sense because I never cared about competing either. It was always, I just want to lift. So if powerlifting never existed,
Yeah.
it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to be in the gym lifting weights. And that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, let me share a story with you. There's a guy I met from New Zealand when I first started lifting in 2007. I think he was M2 world champion at 125. Lance Stewart was his name.
Okay.
Really, really cool guy. And he told me one time, he said, Nathan, I train all these people around West Auckland in New Zealand. He said, there's about 15 world champions there that won't leave their garages. So just all these big Polynesian guys, either Maori or Samoan, lifting cars in their backyard. And he goes, I can't get them onto a platform. And I've gone, I'm glad because at the moment I think I'm strong and I think I'm good at this sport. If all those guys that like fellas that you're talking about, if they left their garages and came and competed, I wouldn't be considered good anymore. So let's, you stay in your garage. I'll stay here.
Keep your ass in the garage.
Just, I'm glad you exist, but stay out of my sport because
Right.
you're a beast.
It's kind of like what's his name, Jezza?
Jezzy yeah.
Yeah, man, he's got a bunch of he's training a couple freaks, a couple female lifters. They're insanely strong, and they all come out of the
His
same little place.
his daughter is brutally strong in
Is
weightlifting.
that
She's
his
gonna
daughter?
Yeah, one of them's his daughter. I think she's going to the Commonwealth Games next year, and
Okay.
then hopefully qualify for the Olympics. But all the Nauruans are crazy strong. They're just these nuggety little
Yeah, man.
islanders that
They're
live
all
on.
built the
And
same.
yeah, and Nauru, I don't think there's anything at Nauru. I think there used to be or is a detention center for Australia where we send illegal immigrants. I think doing stuff for the Australian government is their main export, and the island. I'm pretty sure it's one of those guano islands. Like it's coral reef that has got a lot of bird shit on it, and then it develops into an island.
Gotcha.
So there's not much there, but I think at one stage they had 3 world record holders all training out of that same weird little gym.
It's like this tiny little just shed,
Yeah,
and they're all monsters. But,
Hayden Pritchard was telling us a story about Jezza warming up in at one of the world championships. He was doing like 300 kilo front squats the day before lifting, or 2 days out.
yeah.
No spotters. Everyone just sort of turns their back on him, going, do your thing. And here's Jezza knocking out 300 kilo front squats.
Yep. The day Matt Gary was telling me in the warm up room, he worked up to a 400 kilo front squat before he goes out to, and I'm like, that's insane. But I mean, hey, everybody's got their routine. But he was kind of like this erect, he didn't lean at all. So
he's super upright.
Yeah. So that kind of made sense.
And like his proportions are kind of weird. Like he's got very, very short femurs, massive quads on him,
long torso.
Yeah, and he's pretty short. Like we competed against each other a lot over the years, and he comes up to about sort of shoulder height on me.
Yeah, you were much bigger in person than I thought, because Instagram, Facebook, you meet people. This is how we meet people first.
Yeah.
And then when I first met you at the Arnold, I was like, I'm looking up because I'm the tiny guy. And that took me by surprise. I was like, wow, Nate's big, man.
Yeah.
That threw me off.
Like, yeah, me and Ryan Carrillo, I think we're about the only tall bench pressers getting around.
Yeah. That's what kind of messed me up. I was like, man, that's impressive that he's that tall, lifting that. Like, your range of motion is so long. And you're still lifting that kind of weight, still deadlifting that kind of weight. Still, people don't think about that. They're like, oh, it's just a big guy. I'm like, no, they got another 1.5 feet to move this stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I got a photo. I remember that Arnold. I got a photo with Ethan Foote from New Zealand. He was out. He came over for the deadlift comp, and he was about 6'8", 6'9".
Ethan, I don't think
Foote. Yeah, Foote. I don't think he stuck around very long, but he had a huge deadlift, and I know Larry and Priscilla brought him out because they wanted him in the deadlift comp. But yeah, I felt really short hanging out with him. He was a monster.
Yeah, I got to look.
Absolute monster.
I
where were we?
That competition. I don't know. We're all over the place.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that first Arnold. Then, the first time I met you at the Arnold. What year was that? 15 or 16?
14.
14.
I'm sorry. I was at 12, 14, and 16.
Okay.
So the first one I met you at was probably 2000.
It must have been 4. No, I didn't do 12.
I met you. I saw you at 2012. I think. I thought I saw you deadlift.
Oh, when I had a little nap.
Full meet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was 2013. That was. Yeah.
Okay. So then
I did that. I did that twice. I think that was 13. I don't know. I did it twice.
I was there at one time. You were deadlifting, you fell backwards, and I remember watching you on a live stream the time before, and I remember saying to myself, "Somebody get behind him," because he normally, from doing the Valsalva, he normally kind of like gets up and then he loses it, and nobody listened.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of just bang, you just kind of fell backwards. And I'm like, why didn't have any, because everybody's like, oh, you don't need a spotter for deadlift. I'm like, that's why you need a spotter for deadlift.
Yeah, that guy does.
A Valsalva maneuver, it kind of screws you up.
Yeah. So there was a couple of things going on with that. In the end, it was an indication that my heart wasn't right as well. Because it happened at a few comps, and it would happen very intermittently. And yeah, I'd put myself to sleep, and it was always at the same spot. I had this sticking point around the knees, and I could often grind through that sticking point, and I'd go a little bit lightheaded, but it wasn't too bad. But the both times at the Arnold where I had the little go to sleep, I just got a little bit hung up. Really tried to force through hard, and woke up on my back with the Mir Fazeli telling me, "Oh, don't worry, mate. You just had a little nap. Up you get."
Now, did that have to do anything with like blood pressure or anything like that, or?
Yeah. That was my heart going out of rhythm and the blood pressure going all over the place and just doing weird stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what happened? But we also had a thing with my powerlifting thing that
2000. We met around 2014. Get back on track.
Yeah.
And that's when we have that picture. Me, you, Brady, Gino.
That's the one.
I don't know. Was anybody else in there? I'm kind of forgetting.
No, I think that's it. Me, you, Brady, and Gino.
Yeah. And that was that's when I was my biggest. That was 105 kg.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little bit smaller. My biggest is around like 240 pounds, so like 110 kg, something like that. But my local friends would go, "My God, Jack, you're huge," and stuff like that. And I would always laugh, and I'd show them that picture, and they're like, "Why do you look so small?" I'm like, "Because these are huge friends." That's what really big people look like. I'm 5'9", 240, but I'm 5'9" by 5'9". These guys are like 6'5" by 6'5". That's much bigger.
So how did you qualify for the Arnold? What was the process for you guys there?
The first one, 2011 Nationals. Basically, it was whoever could sign up the fastest gets in.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was so lucky. I would just stayed on my computer and I kept refreshing. I was like, I'm gonna get in this. So it refreshed. I signed up as fast as I could, and I got in. And I wanted to get in because 2012 was the last year it was an actual international meet. Like I competed against David Coimbra from Brazil. I competed against some Russian dude, a Canadian dude, or a couple Canadian dudes. It was a true international level event. And I was like, I want to see, I don't know where I'm going to go, but I want to see where I actually stand at an international level, because I'm not going to make it to world, but I want to see where I go. David was world champion at the time. He kind of walked away with the thing. I stupidly cut weight, and I was never supposed to be that small, but I just cut it. I was actually running the day before to try and make weight, which was the dumbest thing ever. So I screwed myself on that. But it was a really cool thing to do, and I'm kind of mad that they don't actually have that anymore, like a true international level meet. And now that USAPL is not in, the IPF anymore, it's never going to be anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a shame. Like I really love the Arnold. It was my favorite competition to do each year.
Absolutely. Yeah, hands down. Especially like the crowd was so shocking. I mean, maybe not for the new people now, because like even local meets have hundreds and hundreds of people, sometimes even 1,000 people, depending on where you are. But coming from, going to my first competition was in a racquetball club where there was like nobody there. Like even my coach didn't show up. Literally, I was there by myself.
We once had a powerlifting meet underneath the stadium steps at a football stadium.
See what I'm saying? So going from that to the Arnold, and you look out into that giant crowd, that aisle, and see thousands of people looking at you. It's, I've always been good at like just zoning out and not seeing anything. That is the one and only time I walked out for a squat and it took me out of it. And I was like, whoa, this is a big deal. Came back, sucked myself back in and went to work. But that was a really cool experience. I'm so glad I got to do that 3 times. So,
And which meet did you do at the Arnold? Because there's 4 across the weekend, isn't there?
I did the raw challenge for the full meet. I
Mm-hmm.
did the bench only, that was raw, and then the 2016 I did. I'm sorry, it was 2 full raw meets, and then 2016 I believe I did just the bench only. And
Oh, that was the raw bench only, wasn't it? Dennis's
yeah,
meet.
yeah,
Oh,
and
can I tell? I want to tell you a
go ahead.
story about the first one of those because you probably known Dennis for a long time. He's a New Jersey legend,
Oh yeah,
and
Dennis is
when he
great,
was
man.
putting when he wanted to put the I think it was 2014 was or 15, I can't remember which, was the first time that he wanted to do the raw bench only comp, and it was in the invitational. So he calls me up. He said, "Do you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, put me down. I'm already doing 2 comps, so why not a third? We'll compete every day." And which Priscilla said, "You're nuts. Why do you do that?" And I said, "Well, I'm flying a long way. I want to get my money's worth."
Right.
And so Dennis says, "All right, we're doing it." And I thought nothing else of it. I didn't really prep for it. My main focus was trying to put up a 700-pound bench on Sunday. And so that's what I was working towards. I get into the warm-up room and we're going through everything. And John Giffen from Canada comes over and he says, "Nathan, what's your plan?" I go, "I don't know, man. I figure I'd do this, this, and this." He goes, "You know we have to win or come fourth, right?" I go, "How do you make that out?" And he said, "Well, do you think anybody's going to beat Jennifer Thompson today?" And I've gone, "Absolutely not. She's going to win because it was on Wilkes." I said, "She's standing on the top spot." And he goes, "That means Dennis is going to be standing on the number 2. Do you want to stand in third and then explain that photo to your friends afterwards?" So that's
Yes.
why all of our third attempts were always so wild, and we would either miss them spectacularly or just go something light and solidify fifth or sixth place because nobody really wanted to come third and stand in that photo.
Especially since they weren't, Jen is not a big person at all.
No, it
And,
was like a 63
Dennis is,
kilo woman, a 93 kilo guy, and like me or Matt Baller are weighing in. What I was 175, Matt was 165. You had that big Austrian that was about 190 kilos.
yeah,
The
yeah.
photo's going to look weird.
It's like, wait a minute, he's in third? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was watching Jen lift that. That was like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. It really was. I'm not a pound for
Oh,
pound type person, but that was impressive. It really was.
it's mind boggling
Yeah.
because
And her her
all the
reach is insane. Her
mm,
arms are so long. And so is Dennis's. Dennis's arms are crazy long too. I don't even know what's happening.
yeah, all these people that run around going, "Oh, bench is short arms, short arms, short arms." I go, Have you seen these two ever? Like,
Right.
they're scratching their knees without really bending that much.
Right. Yeah.
They're long range of motion, and they've
Hmm.
just learned how to, like, you know, good technique is good technique. It doesn't matter how long or short your arms are.
Hmm.
And so, you see it with those two every time.
Their tendons must look like cables.
Right.
They have to. They have to. It's got to be.
Do you follow Jen on Instagram?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love her thing at the moment. With every other reel is going, "Yep, I'm 50.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. I'm look at this. Do you think I can do that?" And all the ones that go, "Do you think a 50-year-old lady could do this?" And then it's her like smashing out a set of 10 with it. I'm like, yeah, okay,
She's got like 100-pound dumbbells and she's just wrapping them.
right. We brought her out to Perth in 2015 for we had an invitational out here, and I was able to get in on the committee that was inviting the athletes, so I just got to invite my friends. So Donovan had been complaining for a while that Jen had never been invited to anything in Australia, so they were the first invite. And because it was a competition at a fitness expo with about 150,000 people coming through, mostly bodybuilding related, we wanted Jen to be on the main stage, benching 140 kilos, which is like the gym bro standard for the hero level.
Right.
And we wanted to see all these ripped bodybuilders on steroids just lose their shit at Jen benching 140. And they did.
They're probably
they did.
screaming that it's fake weight.
They go, there was a couple of people in the crowd that my wife caught. They're going, oh yeah, I could do that. Because they saw American, they're going 140, they're going, must be pounds. And she turned around and looked at them and going, fellas, that's kilos. And they're like, oh.
Yeah, man. That's nuts.
Oh, it is. Really is.
I think 140 is a little less than 315. I think 142 and a half is 315, right?
Something like that. It's like three plates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's still a lot of weight.
Yeah, it just makes no sense when you see, like, she's physically impressive.
And plus traveling, it's like a 24-hour travel.
31 it used to take me to go from Perth to Columbus. And given they were coming from North Carolina, probably would have been a little bit more. So it's about a day and a half travel to get there.
Man, that's rough. That's rough. Dehydration alone.
Well, this is why
did you fly across Australia first, like land there and then go to like California?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Quite often, and originally I was in Karratha, so that's 2 hours, a 2 hour flight north of Perth. So I'd go Karratha, Perth, 2 hours, 5 hours across country, 16 hours to LA, and then go from there.
That's like another 5-6 hours, something like that.
Yeah. Or sometimes I would go, I'd get on an Emirates flight and I'd go to Dubai, which is about 11 hours, and then Dubai to either Chicago or one of the East Coast airports.
I want to get on one of those flights. They look amazing.
They're a lot of fun.
I just can't.
Yeah, they got those big. They got those big A380 Airbuses. They're awesome.
Yeah, they got the big boy seats too, right?
They do, because I think Middle Eastern men are a little bit bigger than average, and it's considered quite cool to be big in the Middle East. It tells everyone that you're wealthy.
Nice.
Skinny people aren't to be trusted.
I'm gonna tell that to all my skinny friends. I'm not gonna trust you anymore. Skinny bastard.
I don't know. Like, skinny people must always be hungry, and so they're always thinking about how to get food, or maybe sizing you up as food. So I'm like, dude, back off. You and your triathlon running ass, get over there.
Oh man.
So going back to the Arnold, what was your pinnacle there? Like, what was your big moment?
Oh, easily getting on the podium. I got third behind Robert Trenton, who got second, and Nick Tyluki, who was the world record holder at the time. And Robert Trenton was he competed at Worlds too. So it was just, kind of a just one of those moments where I was like, wow, all this kind of hard work is starting to pay off. Like I'm kind of there. I'm hanging in with these guys. And one of the guys that came down from Canada to compete, he was a 700 plus pound deadlifter, and he was trying to take the third place spot. And I don't really, if you beat me, you beat me. I'm going to stick to my plan no matter what. Even if that means me going like another, 20, 25 kilos up. I always took giant jumps on my deadlift because I only had like one big pull in me. so it looked like I was doing, you know, you know what I mean? Like my first deadlift was my
I
last
used to
warm
do
up
the exact same thing.
because it was like I'm not gonna. I only have one big thing in me on deadlift
Mm-hmm.
because of my back. So it was like first deadlift was my last warm up. Second one was like kind of like preparing me for my
Mm-hmm.
last big pull, and that'll tell me where I'm going from there. Am I only jumping 12 and a half kilos or am I jumping 25 kilos? So I jumped 12 and a half kilos or something like that. And I hear the guy over the loudspeaker. He's like, he only needed 2.5 kilos to secure third. But I remembered the guy from Canada. He was such a big puller. I was like, I'm going to throw on my regular weight because he's going to switch and throw whatever he needs on.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up doing that anyway, but he missed it. Luckily for me. And I got third. I thought I got sixth because in my brain, I'm just, I suck. And my one friend go, hey, congratulations on third. And I told him to go screw himself. And then I thought he was messing with me. Later on, I apologized. I was like, sorry, man. I thought you were messing with me. But yeah, definitely hitting that podium. That was amazing, especially against those guys. So
Yeah, I remember Nick. He was an absolute beast. From
yeah.
policeman from Minnesota, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's been doing it forever. He hasn't competed in a while, but he was on a world level probably in the early 2000s, even as a junior or
Hmm.
something like that. I don't think he's much older than me. I think he's only a couple years older than me. So he's probably like late
How old are
20s,
you?
like 40.
40. Yep. Yeah, I think he's my age. I'm 47.
So yeah, he's only a couple years older than me. So when I was like starting out in 1999 competing, he was already like probably like a late junior,
Right.
something like that, and he was already at a world level. Him and I can't remember who else it was. They would go back and forth. He's a pretty popular coach now. Doesn't matter. I can't
Oh,
remember anything
that
nowadays.
would have been the old weight classes as well. So he would have been at 100 in those days.
Yeah, he would have been 221. 100
Mm.
kilos.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah. I
remember
think
who used to lift at 100 kilos back in those days.
I think it was like he used to go between I think 100 and 110. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was always like 100 though. I mean, he's always lifted around the same weights just consistently for the past like 20 years, just nonstop. And I would always mess with him when I go to meets, and he'd kill me in squat. Eventually not by much, but he'd kill me in a squat, and then he'd come up to bench, and I'd be like, "I'm gonna kick your ass in bench," So it's the only thing I had on him. And then deadlift would come around, and he would just smirk because he knew he was just gonna wipe the floor with me. And me with my crazy long torso and my T-Rex arms, I was
Mm-hmm.
never gonna be a good deadlifter. Is what it is.
Yeah, I've said that for a long time that I think most of the great deadlifters were born, not made.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Plus, with Nick, I always found that if anybody said that they trained at Jackal's gym, even for a little while, they were going to have a massive deadlift no matter what.
Yeah, that training was crazy. The way they
Mm.
would pull off those pins, they basically train their central nervous system to just adapt to those insane loads.
Yeah,
They start from a higher pin with crazy amounts of weight, like super max weights, and then they work their way down as the meet gets closer and closer. And their body's just used to handling that kind of weight, and the volume they use too. They kind of use like a linear approach.
yep,
So, but I don't know what it is, but Brad, Nick, even the world's strongest man guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but all of them, insane deadlifters.
yeah, yeah, and well, obviously Brad's brother Carl did really well in strongman, great
Right.
deadlifter as well. Who you
Yep.
got? Luke Klein, a bit younger than us. He had a huge deadlift as well. He was a super, trained with those guys.
Yep.
I just think anybody that trains with Brad is you're going to be tough no matter what, even just from hanging out with the guy.
Yeah,
Not even not so much learning from him, but just being in his presence and Brad being Brad. I think you get stronger being around him.
absolutely. I'm kind of a big believer in that too, where if you if you don't have a strong enough mind to push yourself, you need to be around other people that are stronger than you in order for you to get stronger.
Yep.
It's just kind of how it is. You don't want to be the big fish in the little pond.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That was how I got into powerlifting at all. Like, because I'd been lifting heavy and training like a powerlifter for a while. But I was in a tiny country town, and so I thought, one day I think I'm the strongest in the gym. Yay for me! That means I'm stronger than 60 other people, half of whom are housewives. I was like,
Right.
big deal. And then I thought, maybe I'm the strongest in town. I'm going, well, strongest in town, who cares? It's not a big town. So I got on the internet and started looking up comp results. And the 2006 Australian Championships I looked up, and I figured with my numbers at the time, I would have come second that year. And so I thought, okay, so I'm not just in a little pond. I'm actually going quite well. And then I read something by Dave Tate saying that you're not really a powerlifter until you get on the platform. So that's why I went and did my first meet, was just to find other strong people.
In 2006, you did your
Mm.
first meet? What?
2006, no, 2007 was my first meet.
Oh, so you were kind of late to the game,
I was very late. I was 30
so
when I
to speak.
started.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's funny because I was really into bodybuilding through the 90s.
I mean,
And
weren't we
always
all?
liked, oh man, like Dorian Yates was my hero. I must have watched Blood and Guts on that blue VHS cassette.
Yeah.
It was worn out
The
by,
screaming alone.
oh man, the sergeant major training partner that he had, that little nuggety English guy. He's like,
Right.
that's what I want. That's what I
Yep.
want.
When he's doing the pullovers, he's just
Oh,
screaming.
and he's doing on that weird Nautilus bicep machine, and you can swear that he's just snapping fibers
Oh yeah.
as he's lowering it each time, screaming in
Uh-huh.
pain. You're going, okay, so that's how you train. All right, I need to go to the gym and do the same now. And so that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, I read Ed Cohen's book in high school. I'm going, yep, cool. Powerlifting's a thing. All right, and that's all I ever thought about it. And went back to bodybuilding and trying to be just as big and scary looking as I could. And then when my lifts got to a certain level, that's when I started thinking more and more about powerlifting. Westside Barbell just published their training page, and I think Louis
Okay.
had written 4 or 5 articles at that point.
Oh
And
wow.
then
Okay.
because he wrote about 2 dozen or more in the end. But yeah, I found the website when there was only 4 up there. I read everything that Louis and Dave ever wrote, and then would go to the gym every night to try and incorporate it into a bodybuilding program. But it wasn't
Wow.
until
That's
I
kind of
started trying to compare myself to others that I thought, yeah, I'll give powerlifting a go.
that's you know. I feel like I'm listening to myself. We have a really
Right?
similar background, like where I did the bodybuilding all the way up. Like I incorporated bodybuilding, and I still do, into my training.
Yeah, I'm the
Um,
same.
but but when I and because it works. I mean, you gotta have muscle and stuff like that. But when
Mm-hmm.
I decided to be when I decided to really take powerlifting to the next level, I was like, okay, stop worrying about what you look like and get big. And I took my diet and kind of like stop like just maintaining here and just start upping those calories. Lifts went through the roof, and I started focusing more on squat, more
Uh
on
huh.
bench, more and the actual lifts that were going to put those up, rather than just go bench and then do some dumbbells, squat, then do some leg press. You know what I mean? It was everything had a reason now. So, but we definitely started out the same way with where, mine was like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Dorian Yates. I loved Frank Zane is one of my favorite ever because
Uh-huh.
he just looked like a sculpture to me. But
Yeah, all of those
I,
really aesthetic guys, like who else? Yeah, Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler. Um,
the
I was.
'90s bodybuilding was like peak. They looked
Oh,
insane.
yeah. I was always a big fan of the whoever was the biggest, freakiest guy on stage. So, like, I liked Marcus Rule from Germany,
I was gonna say Marcus Rule, man. He was
right? Like,
so crazy looking.
and that massive abdominal hernia that he had, an alien coming through his belly. Um, who else was?
His shoulders were so. He looked like he had
Oh,
shoulder pads on.
yeah, just something else. So yeah, if anybody hasn't seen Marcus Rule, Google search him. So Rule is spelled Ruhl, and he is just a monster. I loved him.
Yeah, he was definitely the
Uh,
biggest freak on this. He was on stage at like 320, I think, at one point.
yeah, and ripped to shreds, striated
Yeah,
glutes, no
just
water. It's like
ridiculous.
it shouldn't be
And he
possible.
never even came close to winning, but everybody loved him.
Oh yeah, like it was an ugly physique, and it was unbalanced. It was
Yeah, nobody cares
asymmetrical,
though.
but it's like going. But he's got the most muscle, so he's my
Yeah,
favorite.
right, exactly.
Um, yeah, my first. I remember the first magazine that I ever bought to get training information was an Iron Man magazine, and it had Mike Matarazzo on the cover.
Oh, okay.
So I used to do a lot of because it was the first thing I ever read that Mike used to be a boxer and that boxing's really good for your triceps. So I bought a speedball that day, and I just used to, knock that over ad nauseum. Probably used to drive the neighbors nuts,
Yeah.
but I got massive triceps out of it. He was right.
Did you?
Mm.
I every time I did boxing, my shoulders would just burn to high hell. I never really got a tricep burn from it.
Yeah, just having my hands there and just doing that
Nice.
stuff. That was enough.
So did you do any other sports besides um like compete in anything besides
Oh,
powerlifting?
all the sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much the same as you. So my first sport was soccer because where I grew up, everyone had to play soccer or rugby. Um, I should have been playing rugby, especially rugby league. I loved rugby league. I loved just the whole violence of it. And when I was old enough, I played it at high school. I played for my high school side. We were quite successful. And because it's just such a violent sport for big guys, I'm thinking
Yeah.
I should be playing this. And my mum was like, no, 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 you play soccer. I don't want you getting hurt. But
You
in
gotta
my
say
head,
it
I'm
right,
going,
man. It's football.
football. Sorry,
Yeah.
go play football.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get hurt playing rugby. And all I could ever think was, but mum, I'm the one that'll hurt the other kids. It's okay. So I played. So in high school, I ended up playing rugby league, rugby union. After high school, I played 2 seasons of American football as well. We had a league down here. I played baseball at a high level. So, but rugby union and baseball were the ones I did at a high level. I swam all through high school as part of my school swim team. What else did I play?
Interesting.
Yeah, and then any sport that would come through, I would have a go at it and want to play it and want to be good at it. So like racket sports, ball sports. I just wanted to be
I
playing a
wouldn't think
sport.
swimming for you. That kind of caught me off guard.
There's a few really big ex swimmers out there.
The height for sure, but your shoulders are so broad. I mean, then again, swimmers are kind of built like that.
Yeah, you
Kind of got
get
the
like
broad
the
shoulders.
classic V taper,
Yeah,
tiny hips, which that wasn't me. I was like brute power through the water.
gotcha.
Yep.
Like a speedboat, just barreling through.
You can have a big boat if you have a big enough motor on the back, it's going to go
Right.
fast.
Yeah.
And that was my theory. I'd just get
Just
bigger
a
arms and bigger legs.
big ass wave coming down the pool. Oh, Nate's in the pool.
Yeah, that was me. That was my swimming style. We got a guy here in WA, Jeremy Hogg, has been a strongman champion forever, and Still does Giants Live and a lot of the big grip contests overseas. And he was a fantastic swimmer as well. Dude's about 350 these days and quite shredded and jacked. And you would never guess that he was once a champion swimmer as well. And then obviously Eddie Hall was a great swimmer before he switched to strongman.
It always like shocks me. You look at these guys; they're so big, and you're like, I especially since they're so good in fast twitch muscle sports. If you're good in slow twitch muscle sports like soccer and swimming, it kind of like blows my mind. Like, how are you switching over and being that successful? Like even Brady, he was really good at Brady Stewart. He was really good at soccer. He played soccer, all through, and then he was a champion bench presser. Kind of like it's just weird to me. I've never been good at anything slow twitch muscle fiber. I've always been fast twitch. Yeah, oh yeah. If it has to do with just brute power and explosion, good at it. You tell me to run more than a block, I'm gonna die. It's just how I'm built. But that's kind of why it throws me off when I hear stuff like the baseball, football, stuff like that. That makes sense for me when I hear that for you.
Yeah.
But swimming,
no.
Unless you're doing like 100 meter and you're just going.
I think my chemistry teacher in year 8, when I hit high school, he was also the swim coach for the school. And he drummed into us back then that all the best students, like the most successful people, were all swimmers, because you develop this amazing discipline of just counting black tiles all the time. And so I remember 3 mornings a week, 3 afternoons a week for my entire high school was spent staring at a black line. Right? And just up and back for about 45 minutes to an hour, put in, 1.5, 2Ks, something like that. Do the work and, come back and do it again the next day. It's so much like powerlifting in that regard that when I got to powerlifting, I was used to doing boring training. So powerlifting was way more interesting than swimming. Because swimming is it's all about having that amazing self-discipline to stay within yourself and just do the work and to be focused on something super boring as you're doing it. And that's why people talk about counting black tiles, because that black line that runs down the middle of your lane has tiles that are about this big. And after a while, you start to count them because there's nothing else to do when you're doing laps.
No, I never heard that before. Then again, I didn't swim, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's serving well. Adam Momola was a really good baseballer and footballer.
Adam,
the
should I know him?
93 kilo US guy, big bencher. Where's he from?
Okay.
Yeah, Virginia.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he's competed in a while, right?
He competed at World Bench last year or this year.
Really?
Yeah, he's still going. He switched over to Powerlifting America so he could keep going to IPF Worlds.
Okay.
And what I've found now with both the split in Australian powerlifting and then the split in US powerlifting, I find it really hard to track where people have gone, and even if they're still around.
Right. So it split over in Australia too?
Yeah, it was the original split was end of 17, 18, kind of after I was out, because I'd had my strokes by then. And that was when Robert Wilkes was considered persona non grata by the IPF, and so we got kicked out of the IPF. Well, that was Powerlifting Australia were kicked out of the IPF. Oceania Federation was kicked out as well, and then Robert Wilkes as an individual was kicked out, and so we were gone. And a new federation formed that only lasted a few years, and then a couple of years ago that kind of dissolved, and this new federation that I've signed up with is going. So we're up to the Australian Powerlifting Alliance these days as the IPF affiliate.
Wow.
Each time it's splintered, we lose people, and you lose track of people, and a lot of why I'm doing this podcast is just to find people that I used to lift with.
Yeah. It's kind of cool that you're doing that, because you see people online, but how much do you actually talk to them?
Right. Yeah. And that was, I always found that the most fun part of a powerlifting comp for me was just after and going for a couple of drinks and just finding out where people are from, because I'm going, well, I know how I got here. And what we're doing or what we did today was pretty bizarre and unusual. And I've done a lot of bizarre and unusual things to get here. So what bizarre and unusual things have you done to get here as well? And they were always really interesting conversations.
Yeah, and you find out that a lot of times it's very similar, just slight changes.
Yeah.
I wish I stayed around for a lot of it. Most of the time, I would just get back in the car and just go home, or get back on a plane and just leave. It was I don't know, man. I just used competition as more of a mental thing for me, like an escape type deal, like a lot of us do.
Mm-hmm.
But it was I don't know, just real hard for me, I guess, because it was just, you have to go to, or at least for me, I had to go to a really dark place to get a lot of those things,
Okay.
and I didn't really want to be around people. And when I put a mask on so that they would see, just a normal person and not like this raging freaking animal. Because what people saw on the platform was really who I was, and not the person off of it. The person off of it wasn't really who I was. So it was, let me get away from everybody. I could be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time I'd be in the car driving home for 8-10 hours, and for like 4 of it I'm just screaming most of the time, because it was like, because it was the mental, like I said, the mental state that I had to get into to just do those things, because I'm in pain most of the time, was outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
And you think of things that you don't want to have to think about that happened, or stuff like that, and it is what it is. And sport in general is a way for people to just let it out, where otherwise they can't. So, but I wish I had a better handle on it when I was doing that then, so I could talk to people and have fun.
Mm. Tell us, we keep on sort of circling around your back. Do you want to tell us the story of that? Because that's what took you out of powerlifting in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know?
So
Kind of
that's always a hard
how I
one.
got hurt, or how it started,
Yeah,
or
I don't. I I've heard so many medical trauma stories over the last 8 years from going to support groups and stuff, and I don't want to sort of glorify that. I want to sort of more look at how did you, because it's obviously badly damaged to take you out of the sport. How did you stay around for so long? And then what went from when did you go from I can handle this level of pain, I can get through this, to I'm not doing this anymore?
okay. To put it simply, I've always been in pain. I don't remember ever not being in pain my whole life. I've always hurt. My back, my
Mm-hmm.
neck has always been bad. I've had, I finally got a diagnosis recently, but it's not something that they can be for sure about, where they said I had congenital stenosis.
Right.
So that's why the pain was always just there. My facet joints were always just kind of jacked up, and just kind of close. All the nerves were pretty bad.
So
I
does that
couldn't
just
move
mean
my.
that all of those joints were just misshapen or something, or just
Um,
weirdly different
they
on you
were
than most people?
they were like, instead of them having space, there was almost no space in between the facet joints and stuff like that. So where some of the nerves run, and in my lower back, it's the S5. I'm sorry, L5S1. That's fused completely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so when I was a kid, I couldn't move my head more than like an inch in any direction until I was about 6 or 7. I couldn't touch my knees, bending over and touch even just touching my knees was like an accomplishment until I was about probably about 13. So I kind of finally got sick of it, and I started just reading and well, as much as I could read. That was a whole different story. Reading was pretty difficult for me when I was a kid, but I found everything I could on stretching and just making yourself long as possible, and I eventually was able to touch my toes, reach past my toes, and the pain started to get less and less and less. And then I started to, um, before that, when I was 10, because I would lift the weights, but I couldn't lift them the right way because I didn't have the mobility. So it was basically all upper body. But when I was like 13 and I had that mobility, I was still in a lot of pain when I lifted things. So when I started to train, I thought to myself, well, I have the flexibility now, but it still hurts when I try to pick things up or try to move them. What if it's just weak in this range of motion? So I started to train really, really lightly and then worked my way up. And eventually things didn't hurt as much picking them up. Deadlift always hurt, squat always hurt, but the pain got less and less and it got more bearable. And the more I did it, the less it hurt. So I kind of always had these frequent like injuries and with my back, like I would always like tweak it, if you want to call it that, and I'd go into spasm with my QL and stuff like that. But that's now that I know more, I realize it's because I had no space. So anytime it would just have like these little micro movements, my back or my nerves conceived it as this crazy trauma. So it just seized everything up. Even though I was doing everything perfect, it didn't matter. The smallest movement for, anybody else, they're fine. If I sneeze the wrong way, that's it. I'm screwed. So it took a really long time for me to kind of learn how to train for me in order to get the level of strength that I had. And eventually it built up to where the more muscle I have, the less I get injured. And the stronger I am, the less I get injured doing regular stuff. So I can sneeze, I can do this, I can do that. But when I ended up getting hurt the last time, it wasn't like this catastrophic thing. I was just training. I was squatting. I was getting ready to do my second rep, and I felt like a little weird in my back. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to rack it. I'm going to call it a day. Unracked the. I stripped all the weight off, and I went home. And then the next day, I couldn't move, and I went to a bunch of doctors afterwards, and nobody could, tell me what to do. I got shots in my back. I had stem cells. I had PRP shots. I did that multiple times. They wanted to fuse my back, like literally like my entire back. I've been through, I don't know, 5 or 6 different physical therapists. Oh man. Recently, after I can't even remember all the things, honestly, that I've been through with like help and stuff like that. But I couldn't walk for more than 8 steps. I remember counting them. I couldn't take more than 8 steps.
Oh my gosh.
Without like falling over. Eventually, I just, all right, take 10 steps and then take 12 steps and then take 14 steps. And I did it over and over and over. And it took about a year for me to learn and build up to walk again. And then I started doing my own little rehab. I started finding my way around my own body again, like I did when I was a kid. And I kind of built myself up to the point where it was, okay, I can walk, I can move around. I still can't pick anything up. I couldn't put my shoes on by myself, but now I need somebody else's help. And I finally found a doctor here in Pennsylvania where they told me about RFA. It's a radio frequency ablations. They basically kill the nerves in your back certain nerves in your back. And that has helped me quite a bit for everyday pain. So I can move around without being in a high level of pain. I'm still in pain. Every joint in my back is arthritic. My neck is completely arthritic. It has to do with something with genetics. We don't know, but it's not the weights, because if it was the weights, it would be, you know, my shoulders, my elbows, everything
Yeah.
else would be, and it was, my back was like this before I even, touched the weight. I'm sure the weight exacerbated it, um, but
I might push
I
back
think
against
that
it. Do you think it made it worse, or do you think it made it better?
I think it made it better while I was doing it. I think
Hmm.
it may have. I think the bench with the arching, the crazy arching, may have maybe affected the facet joints a little bit more in my lower back. But on the other hand, I think that the lifting actually strengthened the discs. I think it made the discs like stiffer and harder, so they wouldn't like, because people that don't work out and don't lift strength train, their discs are kind of like more pliable,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
that's how they herniate them a lot easier. The annulus and stuff like that is softer. People that strength train, it's a much harder material.
Yeah,
So
that fibrosis part of the annulus is much more fibrous, isn't it?
right. It just it adapts, so it gets
Yep.
stronger, it gets stiffer, and I think that's what happened to me, because my disc height in a lot of them is still pretty good. So, but it's just the facet joints that are bad,
Hmm.
and yeah, so that's kind of like more the genetic thing. So it kind of sucks, but after that injury, like I didn't walk for 6 months. I was just screaming in pain for forever. There was nothing. They injected me with everything and under the sun, and after a while, you're like, just put a bullet in my head, because I, you know, literally 24/7 a day, the most insane pain you could think of. That's what it was, and there's no relief from it. So
It's it's the lack of relief more than the pain itself that gets to you in the end, isn't it? Like I remember
yeah,
with my hip was arthritic and awful for years, and I just dealt with it. I squatted on it for years. It needed surgery from about 2007 onwards. I got the surgery done in 2019. I got a hip replacement, but having that 10 years of constant pain, like mine's 10, yours was 30 odd years. Um, it changes the way you think about the world as well, doesn't it?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're kind of like I think 2 3 times about everything I do. Like, am I going to do that? How long is the trip? What am I going to? How am I going to sit? Where am I going to sit?
Hmm.
I don't travel because of it. I'm not going to get on a plane. How am I going to be comfortable on a plane? Where am I going to go? So
First class, baby. First class all the way. Lie down.
yeah, I got to get more clients for that.
Yeah. I I love looking at first class and just thinking, yeah, one day.
Yeah, it's a big jump. It's a big jump too, man. From
Hmm.
coach to first class, it's like, oh yeah, maybe, and then you're like, yeah, never mind.
I got lucky a few times and got business class upgrades coming from the east coast of Australia to the US. I once went from Melbourne to Dallas business class, and that's a 20-hour flight.
Nice.
Oh my god, that's a whole other world up the front of the plane. A380. It had a bar. It had a lounge. The whole works. It was awesome. The worst bit though on that trip was flying back from Dallas to Melbourne in coach. Going, I know exactly what they're doing at the front of the plane right now. Just going, they have real cutlery up there.
Oh man.
Anyway, sorry. Um, so it really cuts down how far you can go. Like your range is severely limited. What about work?
I can't do nothing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I mean, if I I coach people when I get clients,
Hmm.
and it's very hard to get clients when you can't go to competitions and sit around, and because that's how you get clients. Plain and simple. You got to be in person.
Hmm.
I can offer my services online, but if people don't meet you in person and you don't show them firsthand, what are they gonna? How are they trusting you, right? Um, But
This is true.
I have other skills. Like I've made websites, I've made logos, um, I build furniture, but things that took me, hours to do take me weeks or months to do now because I have to do things, a couple minutes at a time. And it sucks. It's frustrating, but what are you going to do? You gotta keep moving, and hopefully, something comes along.
Hmm.
But it is what it is, man. I mean, I wish I had more clients because it's something I'm good at. It's something I'm passionate about, and but I can't just wish people to come. I
Right.
have to be able to get there and do
Yep.
it.
How much of your coaching style do you think is based on what you didn't get or what you didn't do versus what you actually did?
In what respect?
In that, yeah, it was an ugly question, wasn't it? I, I when I finish this first coffee, I'll be much better. I'll be much better off. Um, I noticed this year when I was head coach for the Australian bench team in Norway, and I noticed a lot of my coaching practice was I was doing things that I thought would have been nice to have as an athlete that I didn't have, and so I was doing a lot, almost what is it called, via negativa. I'd look at the negative space and try and fill it. And so I think it seems to be a hallmark of the self-coached athlete that goes on to be a coach, because
Yeah.
we made so many more mistakes or had to make more mistakes in order to learn. We've got this very interesting picture of what doesn't work and why it doesn't work and what would have been better in its place. So I'm wondering how much of your coaching is based on that.
Oh God, probably probably like 80% of it, easily,
Yeah.
easily. When I was first coming up, the first coach I had, like I said, he never even showed up to my first
Mhm.
meet. He drove me to the meet. He said, yeah, here's the meet. Here's the meet director. That's where you go warm up. I'm gonna go open up the gym," and that was it. And then when he would coach me at his gym, he just gave me cue cards. There was no form check. There was
Wow.
no nothing like that. So when I coach people, I make sure they're doing everything the right way. I get mad at people when they don't send me videos. Send me the videos. I need to know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, so I
Yep.
can make sure that you're the best you can possibly be. What are you eating? How are you sleeping? All this kind of stuff. If when I was able to go into the warm up room and stuff like that, don't touch the bar. I'll put your weights on. Leave it alone. Don't look at the screen. I'll tell you when you're ready to go.
Yep.
All that stuff. I'm going to take care of everything. Don't worry about it, because this needs to be the best meet you've had, or the best, possible situation that you could be in, because you traveled, you did everything right. Now let's do everything right here. So yeah, it definitely probably about 80%. And then the other 20% is probably just me learning from
Mm.
them. Every
Yep.
time I get somebody new, that's a new person genetically. That's a new person, injury history, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you get people that are, I think I heard you call it neurospicy. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, neurospicy.
Okay.
I don't
And
like divergent. Spicy is much more fun.
neurospicy. And
Yeah.
which is a great term, because not everybody's going to be able to sit and talk like me and you, and
Hmm.
they can't explain themselves easily, and that's a learning experience for me, because I don't have the greatest attention span. I don't have the ability to sit there and, again, I want to be, everything's got to be quick with me.
Hmm.
So if I'm trying to pull an answer out of you and you're not giving it to me, that's a learning experience for me. Especially if you don't know how, and your vocabulary is only maybe 100 words for a kid that has, that's autistic or something like that.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to get you to be stronger and faster, because you're interested in weights, and you come out of your shell when you're actually in this weight room. So yeah, the 20% is definitely me learning. I'm always going to be learning
Yeah.
until the day I die. And if you say that you know everything, then you're lying. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I had a local coach in my city. When I started telling people I was kind of wanting to get a bit more involved in powerlifting again and coming back, and this guy said, "Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I could learn from you." And I've just gone, "Oh, cool, that's a nice welcome back." Because I think
without even saying anything, like without you saying anything, or without.
Oh, we were having coffee, and I just said, like, I'm looking to find where my spot is and what I can offer. And this guy just said, "Yeah, I'm pretty maxed out on coaching. I know what I'm doing. I don't need anything else." I'm like, okay, cool, because I know some of the best coaches in powerlifting, and these people are wildly curious, and they never, like you said, they've never ever stopped learning. And every time they meet a new person, it's an opportunity to learn something new again.
Always. I have never. I always. The older I get and the more I learn, the stupider I feel. It's ridiculous. When I was a kid in high school and I was writing programs for everybody, I thought I was top dog. I thought I knew everything. I'm 40 years old now, and I'm like, I don't know a damn thing. I don't know anything.
Yeah. I want to be 27 again, because I'm pretty sure at 27 I had everything figured out.
Yeah. Right.
Confidently too, with references.
Right.
47, everything's maybe. It depends. I think I've annoyed a lot of people a lot of my athletes over the years when they'll come to me wanting a fairly definitive answer, and they'll say, "So if I do X, Y, and Z for this many weeks, I should get this result, right?" And I just look at them and going, maybe. I don't. Yeah, you could.
Right.
It's within the realm of possibilities. Let's find out. I go, but certainly you should know. Go, I don't know. A whole lot of shit could happen in between. But yeah, it sounds like a good experiment. Let's go and find it out. And I know I lose out in terms of picking up new clients to people that will say, "Oh yeah, if you do X, Y, and Z, then these 17 things will definitely happen, and I guarantee it." And we're going, well, that's kind of silly. You can't guarantee your results.
Yep.
Humans are complicated.
Yeah, right. They're tailoring to the people that are just getting into it, and they're young, and they, oh man, I tried this new program and I put 30 pounds on my bench. You could lay down and do anything, and you're going to add 30 pounds to your bench.
Yep. Yeah, I see those posts all the time where they're telling my coach must be the most amazing person on the planet, because I've been powerlifting for 6 months now, and I keep on hitting PRs, and I'm going, yeah, that's everyone in powerlifting. When you turn up to the gym,
Right.
Like all I read there is you've gone to the gym every week for 6 months, and now you're stronger.
Yeah.
Like if you just turned up for six months, you're going to be stronger no matter what. Like you said, you could do, like, think about some of the stuff we did when we were young, and we still got stronger from it.
Oh yeah.
It's shit works.
I maxed out every single week, and I got stronger for a year. I never plateaued. From 95 pounds to 235 pounds, I never stopped. It just kept going.
Oh, I like telling stories about dumb training stuff that I've done over the years, and people go, "Why would you do that?" I go, "I don't know. Read it in a magazine."
Yeah.
And then I found out most of those articles were ghostwritten anyway, and that Chris Cormier didn't write that article about the incline bench press, and he probably doesn't do that.
Not once.
Yeah, I was devastated the day that I found out that Muscle and Fitness should have been called Muscle and Fiction magazine.
Oh yeah, man, they had. they would just hire random people to write just bogus articles, and it was like, again, when you get older and you learn more and you read some of the old stuff and you're like, wow, I can't believe I tried that. Like I did this arm workout and it's like six exercises of biceps and six exercises of triceps, and they're all like 6 sets, and it's all in one day, and you're like,
and it's all
yes,
super.
that's why my arms hurt.
And it's all supersetted.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. They're like, no, you can grow big arms too. Just take this and this and this, and they got the sales for like Muscle Tech and all the other whatever the hell they were selling that day.
Oh, gee, I consumed a lot of Muscle Tech products over the years. They had some great marketing campaigns.
Yep, Cell Tech was my
Cell Tech, Cretin.
Yeah. It was basically sugar.
Yeah, yeah.
And I took man, what is his name? Man, I'm so bad at remembering names. It's a guy from New Jersey, bodybuilder, and he's got his own line.
Gaspari.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm from New Jersey, and you know his name. Gaspari. And I was taking one of his pre-workouts that had creatine and like stuff like that in high school. And years later, I found out it was banned in the United States. I'm sorry, it was banned in Canada, but it was okay in the United States because it had so many things in it that were just crazy bad for you. And I was wondering why every time I took it, I was just ready to run through a wall. Basically, it had like ephedrine in it, and all these other kind of crazy things. And I'm like, great, I was a drug addict in high school, like so.
Remember that Muscle Tech company had a fat burner, Oxy something. Everything was Oxy for a while, and that had just like huge amounts of ephedrine, illegal fat burners. Like it was amphetamines that you could buy over the counter at a health food shop. I was so sad when they took that out because that was about the only supplement that actually worked, because it was all peds, man. It was just, I remember rocking around between like 2002 and 2005 when you could still get it. And like I used to like it for keeping body weight in check. And I realized now, I was on amphetamines for 3 years without knowing it.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah.
Hydroxycut was the big one.
That's the one. Yeah, Hydroxycut. That was it.
Okay. We had a big arm wrestling competition over here when I used to do arm wrestling, and I used to take the Hydroxycut before the arm wrestling to amp myself up because I knew it was a ephedrine and all the other kind of crazy stuff. And I would only take like 2 pills. And my friend, he took like 6 pills.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, go warm up. And he's over in the corner and he's doing 1-arm pull-ups. And I'm looking over. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Wait a minute. How the hell are you doing that? He's like, I don't know, man, but I feel really good. And he goes over there and he's so like, he's just like shaking and his whole body, his eye is twitching. I'm like, I think you're going to have a heart attack. Please don't die. We're like 17, 18.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised.
Things when you were a kid.
I think, the more and more I think about some of the stuff that I took for getting stronger, and so Hydroxycut was one. Took that for a few years. Had some great workouts based on Hydroxycut, but like we said, it was speed, really.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
We just didn't know it. And then so much ammonia. I was talking to one of the guys the other day. I took so much ammonia all the time. I really enjoyed ammonia. And I used to make it look like it didn't affect me. So I'd like do a double cap, and on the inside, I'm like going, I'm ready to just bust through a wall. But on the outside, I try and do this like stoic monk thing. So I messed, that reminded me, I messed Joe Capolino up like that one time. I had brand new nose talk. It was really, really fresh. And you used to see me sitting at the back and just waving it under my nose like it was nothing. And I used, because that was my thing, was trying to stay in control. And Joe said, oh, I've run out. Can I use yours? And I said, yeah, here you go. And I didn't warn him how strong it was. And because he'd been seeing me use it so much, he thought it was kind of weak. So he's opened it up and gone for a big like this right before his third attempt bench, and it threw him off so wildly. He walked back off the platform and just goes, "You're an asshole." I'm like, a funny asshole though, wasn't it?
Oh my god! Surprised he didn't fall over.
It blew the back of his head out. You know.
I've never, not once, have used ammonia. Never even smelled it before.
Oh man, it's a horrible, noxious smell, but the nervous system responds to it because it's like massive activation of the trigeminal nerve. There's a lot of pathways there where trigeminal nerve is going to be good for strength. It's one of the reasons why mouth guards work. It's not the olfactory response that you're getting. It really is the trigeminal response that we're going after. It's a weird thing, and you get a massive sympathetic high from it, really. So you get lots of adrenaline, lots of power.
I didn't know that about the trigeminal nerve. That's interesting.
Yeah, so you get this mixed reaction because with cranial nerves, people will often talk about them in isolation, but I can't activate some of them without activating two or three others. So you think with smelling, it's going to be all olfactory based, but you're also getting a lot of facial and trigeminal activation at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
Because everything you hear is it's making you smell, and it's so crazy that it makes you want to run away from the smell.
Yeah, there's that. You know, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of cool stories people describe neuro with that aren't quite accurate, but they're decent metaphors.
Right.
But the metaphor isn't the event.
I always thought it wasn't. I didn't think it would. Number one, it wasn't going to help me because, again, mine was more in my head the whole time. I didn't need anything to kind of disappear.
Yeah, it sounded like you had enough rage going on inside your skull anyway.
Right. And two, from everything that I've read, it doesn't last long enough. It's more of like it's really quick. Yeah. So by the time you smell it and then get to the platform and ready to lift, it's already whatever happened is already gone. Is that right? Or
yeah, the peak effect is gone. Okay. But because you can't clear your bloodstream that quickly because you've dumped so much adrenaline into the bloodstream. Obviously, that initial where you go like that, that's the peak effect. But that'll stick around for another 30 seconds to a minute.
Oh, okay. So much longer than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, but that's also why I would be sitting right out the back and I'd be sniffing it because I was always just trying to sort of keep it topped up. And then if it was on a bench, I would take a big sniff before I put my wrist wraps on, do my wrist wraps, chalk my hands, and then hit bars loaded and take one last hit. So I'd take 3 hits of ammonia per lift.
Now, wouldn't that, like, just smelling it constantly, wouldn't that kind of, like, for lack of a better word, like, deplete your adrenal glands? If you're...
Yeah, it would. But to do that, like, to actually deplete your adrenals, maybe if I did it every 30 seconds for 3 days, I could get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That whole burning yourself out, depleting stuff, it takes a long time. It's a lot. So when powerlifters are saying it, they're trying to describe tiredness. They don't have adrenal fatigue. They don't have a central nervous system problem. They're just tired. And we like to come up with fancy words and fancy explanations for it. To actually deplete a gland like that is really hard to do. And you probably got a disease and you probably got a whole lot of lifestyle issues that go with it. Lifting too heavy and snorting too much ammonia, probably not going to do it.
You're not sleeping. You probably got hormone issues. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you've probably had a month of insomnia first before you get to that point.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man. So where are we up to? Let's look at... We've been going for an hour and a half, and I know I've got a bunch of stuff on for the rest of the day. So why don't we wind it up here, and then maybe do another one sometime.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So if people do want to get hold of you, if someone out there is super crazy and go, yeah, being in pain all the time, that's how you develop great coaching, which I think it is, because your knowledge of anatomy is probably more advanced than a lot of doctors at this stage for how much research you've done of how to stay out of pain. And so, in my opinion, that would make you a pretty knowledgeable, insightful coach. How do people find you?
I mean, a bunch of ways. Easiest one is brickhousepower.com. You can, my Instagram is at brickhousepower. Facebook's Jack DiBenedetto. Let's see, where else? Yeah, that's probably about it.
They're the best ones. Yeah. I'll put that in the description on Spotify.
Okay. I can always send you the links and stuff on in our chat.
Yeah, I don't think you've seen how sparse my descriptions are for podcast episodes. I always figured if I was getting paid for this, I'd do show notes and long descriptions and bios for guests. But I'm thinking at this stage, someone's Instagram handle, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can find everything they need to know there anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, all the links are in there anyway. So, I wanted to mention this to you.
Mm.
You got to put this on YouTube, man. Since you're recording everything, they have the podcast section on there.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can upload all your old ones on there too. I
should get onto that.
Yeah, because I watch all the clips and I watch everything and I listen, but if I can watch it. At least people like me, I absorb stuff a lot easier if I can watch the people talking.
Oh, I think everyone does. That's the human condition. We're eye dominant.
So, figured I'd mention it.
That's good advice. I'll get onto that. More people will be exposed to what I do. I won't be able to be a secret anymore.
No, man, I love it. I love what you're doing. It's awesome.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. Let's get you back on soon. Let's keep this chat going because I've got so many more questions.
All right.
Cool. There we go.